Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Military Mondays. If you and I don't know each other, I am retired Major Brenda Sanchez, and I am the co-founder of Life's Real Currency with my husband, Michael Sanchez, and we wrote the book, Life's Real Currency, and you can grab a copy out on our website. But I bring you these Military Mondays every single Monday morning at 8 a.m. like clockwork, just like in the military. And what I love doing is interviewing other veteran business owners or spouses of military members that are serving that have their own business. And a couple of months ago, I met this funny guy right here, Mel Austin. He actually visited my B&I group and we had a one-on-one afterwards. And I learned of his military career and thought it would be an amazing interview to have him on one of my shows. So with that, thanks so much for being on today, Mel.
Hi, Brenda. Good morning.
Good morning. So Mel actually just moved to Colorado Springs where I am. So
Yes.
Excited to have him in town and share his business and what he's doing today. So Mel, let's start with your military career. You served in the Marines, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Awesome.
Hoorah.
Hoorah. And what did you do in the Marines?
I was a bulk fuel engineer, which is pretty much I refueled all the helicopters, the fighter jets, and the tactical vehicles in the Operation Desert Storm and Shield. And in other words, I was a professional passer of gas.
Gotta have the comedy in there, right?
Of course.
And were you stationed any cool places while you were in?
Well, my training was in Fort Lee, Virginia. And then right from there, I went to Okinawa. I spent about a year there. And then I came back and I was based out of El Toro, the air base there. And then we transferred over to Tustin, the helicopter base. And then Desert Shield came around and there I was in wonderful Saudi Arabia.
Fun times, but I bet you made all the guys laugh in Saudi Arabia. You kept it light, I bet.
I did my best, but back then I don't even think comedy was an option for me. It was more of being a young guy trying to figure things out, and really a valuable experience too. I think the flies bothered me the most.
What I'm betting that being a fuels engineer and hanging out with the pilots and the navs and on the flight lines and that was pretty cool.
It was definitely. We worked hand in hand with the crash crew, and so that was cool. Working 3-4 days and then being off 2-3 days. It was nice. It was a nice little setup, but definitely important and learn a lot about flight line safety for sure.
Awesome. And so once you got out, what did you do?
Well, I used my fuel experience and applied at a propane company, a Suburban Propane, as a matter of fact. And I was actually overqualified, they told me.
I got that a lot at times in my career because I was a reservist. So I would go and get a part-time or, a side gig, a side hustle. And people would say to me all the time, you're overqualified. Why would we hire you? The minute something else comes along, you'll go somewhere else. So,
Right.
and let's talk about that because many people that are in the military don't realize the skills that they gain while they're in that are so transferable. They don't know how to translate that language, but on the outside, that experience is extremely valuable.
Extremely valuable. One thing I noticed, because when I got with this company, I, started moving up the ranks. And one thing I noticed about upper management was that most of them were former military, a lot of Marines, of course, Army, Navy, Air Force veterans as well. And it really was clear that the direction that we're given in the military definitely sets you up for success, you know, in the I guess you want to call it the real world, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So, how did you get into comedy and what you're doing today? Because I think it's super cool that, they can hire you to help break the ice at a conference or especially online right now. We need a break. We need something to make us get up and laugh and smile because we're stuck in these seats all day in front of Zoom. So tell me about how you got into comedy and what you're doing today.
Well, you know, it's kind of by accident. I always wanted to be a motivational speaker, and that, you know, it was something very interesting about being able to get up in front of people and command them to be positive. You know, I want people to have a good life, and I felt like I was kind of figuring it out myself, and I wanted others to have that same those same type of tools. So I, you know, at the propane company, they had a big meeting, and I think I'd only been at the company for a couple months. I was probably like 22 years old. And I went up to the regional manager during this big sales meeting. I said, "Can I say something?" And he's like, "Sure." And he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, he's the youngest in our company. He has something to say, Mel Austin." And I had those people on their feet. I was like, "We are doing great." And they were like, "Yeah." You know, at that time, Orange County, if you may remember back then, they were giving IOUs as paychecks because they were having a really hard time financially. And here we were as a company meeting to go over sales goals to go to Hawaii. And so I really pointed out how grateful I was to be a part of a company that could actually do that. And it was just an amazing experience. And it kind of gave me a new view on what I wanted to do moving forward. So I just stayed involved in doing Toastmaster classes, and then I came across a friend that I worked with. He was a delivery driver for the propane company, but he was going to acting classes. And so we would compare notes. We'd hang out after work and talk about what we were learning, me as a speaker, him as an actor. And so he invited me to his class. I went. The teacher asked me if I ever thought about being an actor. I was like, "No, I want to be a motivational speaker." And he said, "Well, listen, the things you can learn here can be applied to speaking." And so I gave it a try. And in that first year, I found that I was a funny actor. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to try stand up. And I'm going to tell you, stand up gives you direct feedback. You know, with acting, it's like, "Oh, thank you." But as a comedian, if they're not laughing, then you got to make some adjustments. And so I like that. I like that torture. You know what I mean?
Well, I wonder if that comes somewhat from your military background, and that in the military we get immediate feedback generally.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're in war, it's either working or it's not, or you're in a project, it's either working or it's not. There are some people that work projects that maybe don't get that immediate response, but it in first responder type situations, especially the military, you get that immediate response. So I wonder if that's why,
Well,
maybe.
Brenda, you're probably right. I hadn't even considered that side of it. One thing I can say about the military is persistence is really what stands out the most. You know, it doesn't matter what you do, what matters is that you continue to keep doing it, and it will get better, and there's systems in place. And so I just kind of lived that even after I got out, and I applied it towards this. And I really found that consistency was constantly getting more work. You know, I was, you know, probably doing a lot more short films and comedy shows than probably everybody in my class,
Wow.
because I was so persistent and consistent. I definitely feel like the military helped me with that for sure.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit. I mean, you do comedy, you do stand-up comedy and that. Tell us how you help organizations or individuals. What do you do? Why would somebody hire you? Give us a little bit of Mel, maybe a little bit of stand-up comedy this morning.
Well, it's a Monday morning, Brenda. Come on.
Yeah, we need some entertainment.
I'm still in my namaste from doing yoga this morning, but I will say that the main thing for me has really shifted over the years. It's more about people feeling good from laughing. Laughter really does heal. It's a saying, but there's scientific, proof that laughter, it boosts your immune system, it shifts your endorphins. There's no way to be sad and laughing at the same time. And so I feel like anyone that I can show that laughter is that powerful and they can shift the way they feel in that moment, then I feel like I'm doing my job. And so I reached out I kind of went a different route, Brenda, than most comedians. Most comedians will do the bars, the casinos, the colleges. There's nothing wrong with that. They live in their car and they sleep at Motel 6 and they travel around the country. We call it being on the road. Well, when I started, was a single dad. And so I didn't want to leave my boys at home. I wanted to be there and make sure homework is done. You know what I mean? And with that, I was able to realize there are opportunities all around me, right in my own backyard. So I could be somewhere and I could hear people talking about, oh, we're going to do a birthday party for John at the end of the month. And I say, hey, have you ever thought about having a comedian? And they're like, no, but that's a great idea. So there I'd be performing, next to the swimming pool, kids running past, or maybe I do an event at a church or maybe a company picnic. You know what I mean? I just made sure that I put myself in different situations, and that built my whole clean comedy platform. And so I continue to work on that. And the word got out, and over time, people started, reaching out to me and started building Squeaky Clean Comedy.
That's really cool. And so you're here now in Colorado Springs. So now you're here and can serve the Colorado Springs community. But of course, we're online right now. Most events are online, not in person. Mm-hmm. So you're still serving your California community. You have a whole team of people there also that you can support. Mm-hmm. But who would be your ideal connection here? We'll say in Colorado Springs, or maybe somebody's watching somewhere else in the world. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking for so that they can plug you into the right organizations and get people smiling and laughing.
Right. Well, thank you. I think that, first of all, everyone loves to laugh. And being able to be clean allows me to get to a lot of places. The way that our company is set up is that we provide clean comedy to church events, corporate trainings, fundraisers, hospitals. We do military shows, of course, senior citizen homes. I have a team that does school assemblies, wedding receptions. And then I MC events from award ceremonies to golf tournaments. And so, as you can see, there's quite an array of different things that we have done and can continue to do. I think my focus this year, especially, I really want to help corporate America, because I feel like they need a break too. They're working hard. They're making all these adjustments, working from home. And so what I do is I actually do different things, different types of workshops. Just depends on what their needs are, whether it's customer service training or time management, employee engagement, team building. And I get a little creative. I do a little bit of comedy. I'm also a certified laughter yoga instructor. So I get them doing some laughing exercises, which is really fun. And then we play games. believe it or not, we do so many games from trivia to bingo or even a scavenger hunt. So I realized that, it's not live. When you're in front of people, it's a whole different ball game. When we're doing things like this, like Zoom, it's like they're watching TV. So I had to get creative because, they're distracted with, getting their Amazon package or making a sandwich and turning off their camera so that they can yell at their kid, whatever, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, okay, how do I keep people engaged? And so that's why I kind of mixed in the different games and the comedy, just to make sure that they're still getting value. I do research on the company about their industry and things like that, and I just kind of mesh it together just so that they can feel like they're walking away with something and had a good time.
Awesome. Super cool. I can't wait until I get to experience one of your events, because we've only known each other for a few months, so you'll have to keep me posted.
Absolutely.
So before we wrap it up, I do have a question that I'd love to ask, and that's for those people that might be watching right now that are getting ready to transition. Maybe transition is happening this year, or they've got 3 to 5 years left in the service. What advice would you give them?
This is advice I give to a lot of people. I really think this is the core of true happiness, is that you have to know what you're passionate about. What is it that you love? What would you be willing to do for hours and hours, even if it was for free and you enjoy it? What would you be willing to do, without ever getting tired? It's just something that you love. And so when you can tap into what that is, don't even think about the business at that point, but think about what is those actions. And if you can, follow through on that and stay with that, you will eventually create some type of service to help others with. And so it won't feel like work, Brenda. It'll feel fun because you already enjoy it. And I think this is what really lights me up every morning, is I get to wake up and actually do what I enjoy. I could be digging a ditch, you know what I mean? I could be refueling, I could be working at a refinery. And I think, Brenda, a lot of people make decisions off of their careers based off of how much money they can make.
Right.
What benefit is there, or what they've been hearing, or maybe even their family legacy of what they think they should be doing. And I'm here to say that a lot of those people are still unfulfilled to this day. You got to find your passion, and you got to be willing to dig and search and learn how to enjoy that even more. And I think that from that, you'll be able to create the type of life that you really want, and it won't feel like work.
I love it. Before I got out of the service, I heard so many people say, you won't find me back in this building. I'm not going to work here, but they fall back into that comfort zone of what they're familiar with, what they've been doing all their life. And it's time to stretch your wings and fly and do what you're passionate about. And so if you start early enough, like Mel said, start 3 to 5 years out, get plugged into networking events, get plugged into veteran events, plug into Mel, plug into myself, or to other veterans that that have done that transition, because it's not an easy transition.
Now, wait, can I throw one more thing in about that? Because
absolutely,
it's very important. I know that a lot of our servicemen and women have families, and you got to pay the bills, which is what I had to do as well. So as you see, I use my training to get an occupation, but I always kept one toe in what I was passionate about. So while I was at the propane company as a delivery driver, I realized, hey, I love speaking. So I had to figure out within that company, okay, how can I have more opportunities to speak? And so I got into management. I did the manager trainee program because I knew that was the next step closer. And then after so long, and then I became a manager, and that gave me great skills. And I was still doing my Toastmasters on the side. And then I said, hey, let me get into sales. So that gave me even more skills. But I knew deep down what my biggest goal was, which was to be a speaker and motivate people. And so I used the job to pay the bills, but also to develop the skills. Ooh,
Ooh, I like
said that.
Yeah, I like that.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, but I love it. I absolutely love it. So how can people reach you, Mel?
They can reach me. First of all, my name is Mel, M-E-L, and then Austin, A-U-S-T-I-N, like the city in Texas. Between Mel Austin or Laugh, L-A-U-G-H, the number 2, success. You can find me either way. You can find my website under Laugh to Success. You can find Mel Austin. Between those two, you can find me on all the social media platforms. And if I may, I have a book out. It's an ebook called Teach Yourself How to Be Funny. And so out of my 26 years of doing stand-up comedy, 20 of those years I've been teaching the soft skills of getting up in front of people and, overcoming the fear of public speaking and just really being able to make eye contact and be powerful and how to use research. And of course, how to make yourself more vulnerable in a funny way to really get the audience on your side. And so some people do it just for the confidence. Some people actually want to do it for stand-up. It's on Amazon Kindle, and it's called Teach Yourself How to Be Funny. And then I have a show called Squeaky Clean Comedy, which is now virtually, that we help a lot of nonprofits do fundraising. What better way to help a nonprofit raise funds by providing a family-friendly, clean comedy show? And this show is off the chain, I'm just gonna say. I mean, I'm biased, but I'm telling you, I have some amazing comic friends, guys and girls that are professional and clean and hilarious. And so to be able to bring people together, even virtually, to watch this with their families or their church family and everyone in between, it's just an amazing thing to be able to bring laughter, even in the midst of all these situations we're going through.
That's super cool. As you were saying that, I've got several people in mind that I was thinking of, and it's actually for real estate. So I don't know if you've thought of helping real estate agents, but they're doing virtual client events right now. And I have several friends that have been doing these big virtual events. And I'm like, ooh.
Yes, I've worked with a lot of realty companies, mortgage companies. Believe it or not, Bank of America reached out. They did a client appreciation happy hour where they sent them a bottle of wine, popcorn, and snacks in advance, and they had them join us online. I brought one of my professional magicians from America's Got Talent, and we did a 45-minute show. And so it was great. Some of the employees attended, their clients attended, and of course, they were the heroes for putting it all together. So we're getting really creative because people need to laugh.
Amen to that. With that, if you would do me a favor and drop in the chat those links to like your website and the Amazon Kindle book and that, all of those, and your show, put those links below so that people can connect with you. And I highly encourage it. He's quite the guy to make you laugh. So I appreciate you taking time out of an early Monday morning to be on my show, Mel, and look forward to a show in the near future that I get to watch you in action. So
Brenda, thank you. Thank you for being that beacon of light for us military men and women who have businesses, and you're really a great voice for us to let people know what we're up to, and I can really feel how much you care about our success. So thank you for what you've established here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to open it up and say, if you are a veteran business owner, or you're the spouse of a currently serving military, or even somebody who's retired that has their own business, I'd love to have a conversation with you and see if you would be a good fit for my Military Mondays. With that, I look forward to seeing all of you next Monday on Military Mondays. Have an absolutely fabulous week and go laugh a little. See y'all next Monday.
Bye.